Was implicated in state capture today. The former COO of company Bosasa, Angelo Agrizzi, dropped bombshells at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry, and he's promised many more. Bosasa allegedly bribed several officials to receive state business. He says he will reveal the illicit dealings of nearly 40 people. Agrizzi says Myeni shared top secret information. Well, to discuss, let's speak to the SABC reporter Mzwandile Mbeje, who was there. And first, let's hear what he had to say regarding Myeni.
The photographs show a carpet pattern, and the investigators have confirmed that that is indeed the carpet pattern of the Sheraton Hotel. They have also established, Chair, that the person who handed over or who disclosed this documentation to him and others from Bosasa in 23 September 2015 by Ms. Dudu Myeni coincided with a residence of Ms. Myeni in the same hotel during September 2015, and in particular on the same day. There is a video clip which will be played today, or if we don't get there today, tomorrow or the next day, where Mr. Watson of Bosasa is seen counting out cash money, and the transcript of that video has been included in the bundle. Cash money of 110 Rand per month, for example, to a person called Patrick, who's been identified as Patrick Gillingham.
110,000 or 110 Rand?
110,000 Rand.
So it was expected, and talk of possible bribes. Mzwa, you heard that. Can you put it into context for us regarding what was heard today?
Well, Francis, this was quite interesting and quite strange, really. I mean, to sit there and listen the kind of shenanigans that go on sometimes during these contracts and tenders and negotiations. I mean, hearing someone basically saying they were actively involved in the bribery of certain individuals, and even implicating himself, saying, I mean, what he has said so far is still not all. I mean, he mentioned the name of Dudu Myeni, where he said he was sharing the confidential NPA documents. I mean, he is going as far as to say, Francis, so there are about 38 high-profile many of them ANC and government officials who are still going to be implicated. And then he goes on, Francis, to say this is not really being thumbsucked. There is evidence in some of those instances, video evidence. So this was quite interesting. I mean, I found it a serious issue that perhaps the Commission will really take its time to really probe very, very seriously.
So this is very damaging. Just tell us more about the dirt he dished on Dudu Myeni, because it sounds like top secret information shared to protect this company.
What basically he said, remember, before he could give his evidence, he was then led insofar as how he will present his evidence. So basically, the mentioning of Dudu Myeni was part of the issue that he's going to mention. So he hasn't mentioned it himself, but it's part of what is contained in his affidavit, basically saying, to illustrate his point, that on a certain date, I think on the 15th of September, at Sheraton Hotel in Pretoria, so Dudu Myeni handed over these documents which were confidential. And then the Commission has gone on, Francis, to try and verify some of the statements, and the Commission is saying it actually corroborates, because at the time Mr. Agrizzi is talking about Dudu Myeni was staying at the hotel at that time. So as the evidence continues, remember tomorrow is continuing, and perhaps the day after tomorrow, so we expect him to shed even more light in terms of, so what were the circumstances of these meetings? Why was he sharing such information? And of course, and many others really who are getting implicated in this. When Bosasa, was doing its business, it does look like the before it could do anything, it would identify certain individuals, very high profile and influential, and then would bribe them on a continuous basis for protections as well, and to get even more tenders and more contracts.
Mzwandile, Dudu Myeni has always been seen as close to former President Jacob Zuma. Could he be implicated at all? Do we know other names that will be named?
I mean, I wouldn't be able to say with certainty with regards to former president, but of course, when it comes to Dudu Myeni, I mean, in terms of what Mr. Agrizzi is saying, the evidence is apparently very, very strong. So I think it will be up to her really to refute that. So, and of course, linking other issues really that have been happening, and I think the commission will then have the opportunity to be able to look at all those people who are being implicated and corroborate certain things, and then they'll be able really to come to a determination as to what exactly happened. Remember, Francis, this commission that is sitting now, so its sole purpose is to find the circumstances of this state capture. So did it happen? Under what circumstances? Who made it possible for it to happen? Who are the key figures? And I think perhaps if the name of someone like Dudu Myeni keeps coming up, it will be able really to share more light and give a clear indication as to what exactly was happening and who was behind it.
So Bosasa, allegedly a very corrupt company. We're hearing from a former very senior official. Now Bosasa has done business, we know, from the president's own mouth with President Cyril Ramaphosa's son. So there's no evidence of corruption in that regard. But could this be a headache for the current president, Mzwandile?
Perhaps, Francis, not only for the current president, but perhaps for the bigger ANC, because I mean we are told that many names that will be mentioned going forward are some of the names of the heavyweights. And I mean, if that's the case, as you say, obviously the current president will find it very difficult perhaps to work with some of the people who may be fingered directly. But remember, they'll still have the opportunity, if they feel they are wrong, to state their side of the story. But given what we now know about Bosasa and then how it deals with a number of issues and how it was interacting with the SOEs, it will really be difficult for the president, particularly in a year where he has spoken very clearly against corruption and then he is fighting an election. So, and I think he will want to be seen to be taking decisive actions flowing from what the Zondo Commission will hear about Bosasa.
All right, thank you very much, Mzwandile Mbeje, and he will follow that explosive testimony at the Zondo Commission for us this week.